Well, I just want to make a comment that, once again, no offense to Zach, I'm not a big fan of that R-15. However, this is that hole I was talking about we need to quit digging until, not permanently, until we can get some of these water issues solved. I can't see, promising hooking up more people when, we're worried about the people we got right now. Like I said, it's no offense to the builder, and it sounded like they could make a pretty good looking subdivision out of it using the wetland part of it and all that. So, but I got to say no, can't keep digging out so bigger. So that's just my opinion.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments?
Can Brian or Carlton speak to the zoning of that area in the moratorium? Like how many taps are in that area?
Like sewer?
Yeah, or
For the sewer, that area was just recently rehabbed as far as the 2020 point repairs. As a matter of fact, I've been going through emails right there. We've hired an engineering firm to come in and do the study. We did the flow monitoring, then we sent the data to them to go back and compare it to the last flow monitoring. The last bit we did was in 2019 when we got the big release in March of 2020. So we did all this. We've got less flows. I've looked at data. The pump run times are 40% less than what they were prior to starting. So we've seen a lot of sewer improvement over there.
okay, and then 35 lots on our water system.
I don't see a dramatic difference to the water system in that area.
Well, I'll have to say that I enormously disagree with you, because I'm not going to stand here and let somebody preach to me about how bad the water is and then condone them adding more to it.
Thank you.
We dug a hole. We need to fix what we got and not permanently not build houses. Hey, if we get it fixed in 6 months, let's do it, put houses on it.
We're talking about squeezing turds into water, and our infrastructure is already whatever.
You also, well, you weren't at the work study, but if you were listening,
I was listening.
There was the discussion that without any adding to the system, we don't have the budget to do any repairs. So as I said, it's a double-edged sword of
Keep digging.
we can only make repairs unless we raise the rates of the current customers and stop
we would
development.
definitely be raising the rate if we're buying it from White House. Regardless of how many houses. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not against growth, and in this case, I won't even beat up on the R-15, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm thinking with his building skills and using that wetland, he can make a pretty good looking subdivision there. But what I'm saying is, it's not him. It's at a point where we need to fix what we got before we start going on out. We got thousands, over 1,000 places that's still to be built. And, we promised water to them too. What I'm saying is, we're promising the White House water to them, and we don't even have that contract secured yet. And that does raise everyone else's rate when we do that. So that's what I'm saying is, we need to quit digging the hole for a little while. And could just be my opinion, but that's really my opinion. I just think we need to stop digging a hole and take stock of what we got and try to fix what we got. Now, that's what my comment was about. Like I said, it's not about the builder. I hear he builds pretty good things, but
if we do that, if we stop building, then we're going to have to increase the rates 50%, 60%. We're going to have to keep money in our budget.
We're not going to stop building. We got over 1,000 approved out there now, pending, and there's over 1,000.
But you also have your engineer saying that these are acceptable, like these are.
I don't think, and even said it in the last time, I don't think we can supply the utilities in the manner that I think we should be able to say that. So in other words, yeah, we can supply the utilities if we get a water truck, run a Nashville and back and fill the pump up with it.
I mean, that's a concern I've had with the whole, with the high density. I've said it every single time. Infrastructure. Now, you're coming back and telling us that we're going to have to spend X amount of dollars in such amount of time in order to make sure that we keep going. And if we would have had the same situation, if we would have had another 4 weeks of no water, no rain, we all know what kind of shape we'd have been in. And I mean, so to continue to add and add and add to what's already a problem, I don't understand where the logic is, how somebody can stand up here and say, 1 minute, we have to do this, we can't do that, but then this is approved and it'll be fine. I don't get it. I just, and I would like that answer or a way to, somebody to better explain it to me, if they could. Sewer, if you, hold on, Mike, just say it. Sewer. The infiltration of sewer in his subdivision was bad. Even though this is rehabbed and these numbers are down, Scattersville's still taking on water. The meeting before last, when I was coming to the thing, pipe check to the meeting, the pipe check was there checking the area I live in. And they told me, I'm not going to say the number right now because it'd be a lie, because I don't know exactly, but it was high. From Saddle Club out to the end of the line, from Airport Road to this and that. And I'm supposed to take somebody's word that all this is going to handle it. And I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. And then turn around and face the people that say, well, we don't have water, we don't have sewer.
That was a part of the 2022 point repairs project, the area they were in, and that was cut from the budget.
Who was in?
Pipe check out where you live. We did TV in that. Yeah, all that was in, we TV'd all that for the 2022 point repair project. We paid for the TV work, but there's no money for the engineering, nor is there any money for the...
What we just got done? What we just got done by them a month ago?
Yeah, you got to do the TV work, and then you do the design, and then you actually go out in the field and do the repairs. So we had money to pay for the TV work. We got all that. I think we paid them around $95,000, and there's no money in the budget to go and do the repairs.
Well, the thing about it is, and my question to that guy was, those repairs are on the customer's side.
Not all of them, but yes.
A lot of them, from what they told me. A lot of them they were going from the house to the main, is what they were checking at that point. The Dollar General up there, from what I understand, has a hole in it, pretty good size.
I haven't reviewed the tapes.
But anyways, like I said, I mean, that's my deal. That's the reason why I've set up here the time that I have, and I've tried to do everything I could because of the infrastructure and the high density and the safety of the traffic. I mean, that was just brought up in the last thing we
just cut $4 million out of the budget.
I understand that. But we've approved all this other that's already ready to go. Like Mike said, we got 1,000 homes out there ready to go.
And we received $2.5 million in developer contributions from that.
We put back in the system, because I mean, I think you approved the Ryan Homes development.
Yep.
It's 300 homes.
300
of
homes.
high density.
Yep.
So
That
you
was
said
not-
yes to that.
Yeah,
That
this
was
guy
not
stood
in
right
the,
up here and told me that that everything's fine. But
Well, I
then
know, but I'm
talked
just
to him.
saying,
Yeah, I said
these
yes
are
to
tough
it.
decisions. And so, I'm not saying that what you did was right or wrong. I'm just
Okay.
saying, you said that all that's been wrong, but you approved a 300 home subdivision just recently, just in a couple meetings ago. So I think the question is that if you want to do a moratorium, complete moratorium on water, you can do that.
I'm not talking about a moratorium. I'm saying tonight's not a good night to try to approve more houses when we're in a water crisis by all accounts. And I'm thinking we need to slow her down, like I said, quit digging the hole. I don't feel comfortable until we get a lot of these issues resolved.
I appreciate that, and so what I need from the body is some type of direction, because I don't know how many availability requests in my office, and so I just need to know if the body would like for me to not approve any of those starting today, because I don't know what, and I'm being completely respectful here, I don't know what slow it down means. I mean, do you want me to approve a subdivision under this density but not of that density? I've got individual.
I don't know that we can do that really legally. You don't have the ability to do that legally.
I mean, if you don't feel like he has the
I'm
capacity,
not
if you're not
saying-
willing to fix it, he can say no to it.
No, I'm saying, I don't know that he can sit here and say you can do R10, but you can't do R15. But I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an engineer, but I know that I've been setting up here for, 3 years now, and passing stuff, even stuff that I had a gut feeling about, even though I said, okay, let's give it the benefit of the doubt, because a guy was standing up here in front of us telling us that it would be okay, it'll be okay. Now, we're having to, we're in a crunch. Now, all of a sudden, we're in a crunch, and
Well, let's be fair here. He's been standing up in front of you for the last 2 or 3 years saying, if these improvements take place, if you do these improvements, if you fix this system, we can do this, this, and this, and he keeps telling you that. And we've brought list and list and list. We've had work study after work study. We've shown you these options that we've applied for grants. We got millions of dollars we're trying to apply for. We're going to have to spend millions of dollars. If you don't add one more home in this city, you've got stuff that are at the end of life that must be repaired. Lines that have a 40 to 50 year shelf life are been in the ground for 50 years. So he's been telling you that, and time again he has said, if we get these improvements, there'll be no problem to do that. There's no problem to do that. And he's come and he said, these are some improvements that we got to have. And he's been talking about it. He's been telling you that the water treatment plant's got to be upgraded. He's been talking that for 2.5 years. He's been saying it for 2.5 years.
You say it's got to be upgraded. Yeah, it's got to be upgraded, but it wasn't right now it's got to be upgraded.
Yes, it was.
It's going to be phases.
No.
It was always right now, and we were actually very lucky with the cost it's going to be. And actually what was presented at the special work session, actually none of the projects listed there were upsizing projects because of capacity due to a subdivision. Every one of those were all maintenance related and rehabilitation projects.
Well, I've never voted no yet on anything coming up about improving the water.
I don't think I have either.
And so I'm just trying to point out, the obvious, just like Mike said, even if we stop right now, we're still in the hole. But I'm just saying, hey, we got to stop digging at least for a little while until we figure it out.
So what would you guys like for me to do with the requests that are in my office?
But don't you do both? I mean, we don't look at it in a vacuum. I mean, if you talk to any city around, they're having issues. They're having issues with sewer and water and capacity and gas. I mean, whatever. They're having the same issues with utilities. So we can't look at it in a vacuum and say we're completely stopped. So this for years and years, we're completely stopping development because we're having issues. Because 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, we're still going to be having issues, and we're still going to be having to upgrade the sewer system and the water system and the gas system.
And right now, Brian is telling you he does not have any money. He can't make a single repair. He's cutting millions of dollars because he can't. So if we stop development, you're going to have current taxpayers, ratepayers in your face saying, why did my bill just jump $25 or whatever it's going to take to get the budget to give Brian the capability to fix the system so we can get more development?
I think it's easier to understand that the system is in bad shape and that's why the water bill is going up. But I also think it'd be a little harder of a sell that we're still giving out houses when we got water problems. And, there's not a good solution. We stopped building when they cut the sewers off, or at least in areas. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's not a good night to bring it up, my book. And, come up with the figures and bring them to us. Let's see if we can figure out the money. No offense to the fire chief, I'd rather spend it on the water right now.
I do believe that was what was presented.
Yeah, I mean, he asked for night, there's the option of a 50% increase in rates and nothing for the next 3 years, or we take out $7 million in another bond, and we still have to raise it 30% that first year, and then 7% for those other 3 years. So either way you look at it, to get the money, you're either taxing your current ratepayers 50% right off the bat.
I don't have a problem with the bill going up for the sake of repairing the systems and all that. That's not. I mean, that's just understandable. It's got to pay its own way. I mean, that's the rules. Got to pay its own way. But paying its own way, and we got to pay 3 times the rate to buy the water from White House. It's not going in the right direction.
I think there's a misconception that we don't have to purchase water from White House. We have no choice. I want to make sure that I am clear. We have no choice but to purchase water from White House. The creek, our only reservoir source, does not have the capability to handle the current load that the city of Portland puts on it. We have to buy water from White House. This has been talked about for years, all the way back to 2007 and before, that TDEC has made these recommendations, and it was put into a report that TDEC wrote in 2011. We have no choice. We have no other raw water source.
We got a
We
choice
have
on
nowhere
how
else
much
to
we
go.
have to buy until we can get our system fixed, possibly by controlling.
Yeah, right now your choice is 150,000 gallons year one, 125,000 gallons year two, and 100,000 gallons year three.
And how does building 1,000 homes going to help that?
It gives $2.5 million towards the contribution that we have to pay the White House.
Right.
You're not just looking at just purchasing water, you're looking at, hey, the developers are putting in lines.
I do want it to be
they're
known
putting in
that Brian
towers.
and I on this ad hoc committee have done as much as we can to help make developers pay their share to come here. We have raised our fees. You know, we're getting a lot more revenue with development now than we were. And it took a while for people to realize that, you know, we're a commodity, and if you're going to develop here, you're going to have to pay the fees that are comparable to the surrounding areas, and that's what we've done. So development is starting to have to pay these bigger fees. Like he showed tonight, he's got 2.5 million out of development in the industry park. So we are trying our best to take it off of the current citizens and put it on the developers that are moving here.
Well, I've been here my whole life, and I've watched problems that were gonna fix problems. I saw issues that were gonna fix issues. I saw developments that was gonna fix this, and we still had the same issues, so.
Well, now you're in a position to fix it. so
I was about to
you need
say,
fix it.
like the mayor said, you've sat here and voted through one of the biggest
So does
subdivisions
everybody
today.
remember First Fleet on Faultless down there by by Tennessee Stamping? Anybody know what I'm talking about, First Fleet?
Faultless? Yeah, I know where Faultless
Drive. I started here in November of 13. That building flooded out all the time.
Yep.
All the time. We even got a grant. We put in a bigger box culvert there. It kept flooding out. We allowed First Fleet, and they were the ones that actually did it. They moved up to the top of the hill at the corner of Industrial and Challenger, up there south of that on Faultless, and they put in a really large detention pond. When they put in that really big detention pond, that really slowed the water down there. I am not saying that it has completely solved it, but I don't know the last time that First Fleet had water in it. Development, it has been proven, can help in stormwater. It can do the same in utility.
So before us, we have a motion and a second. So what you're voting on tonight is a rezoning. Even if it gets rezoned, whether you choose to or not to, doesn't mean he's going to approve any water for it or sewer. And so maybe he just starts bringing it all and let the body approve whatever you want to approve and disapprove on every one of those. He's got a list of stuff in there, so that may be what he wants to do, so.
This is just the first reading, right?
This is
one
the
has
first
already
reading on
been
rezone.
approved. This capacity letter has already been issued for this property.
On this one?
This property has already received a capacity letter.
Okay.
Zach,
Well, I'll
did you want to
take that
say
back.
anything? You were standing up for a while.
I guess I just would want to add one thing that I know Mr. Hall mentioned city giving these lots away. I mean, this project alone for utility improvements is on the hook for 1,100 foot of replacing the existing line, existing infrastructure that they're on the hook to improve, along with over close to $200,000 of capacity and improvement fees that goes towards the improvement of the water and sewer infrastructure. So they're not being given away. The developers are paying for these lots and improving the infrastructure. And I think a few people were trying to make that point. And this project alone is on the hook for a lot of the improvement to the system that a lot of it needs. So, but thank y'all.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Ordinance 22-55 is a rezoning from RS40 to R15. This is a conservation lot out there. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No.
I think I'm done.
All right, thank you. Next up, we go to Public Works. Alderman Woodall.
Got ordinance number 22-56. It's a first reading, an ordinance authorizing the